I'm Rich Mays Lopez.
And I'm Brendan Dunne, news editor at SoulCollector.com.
And this is Full Size Run, the best sneaker show in the universe.
The only one you need to worry about.
And that is it. Before we get into the show, as always, if you are a new listener or a new viewer, little programming details for you. You can catch us weekly here on Facebook Live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. If you missed that, shame on you, but you can catch the replay on YouTube Soul Collector, on Soul Collector's YouTube page.
That's right.
At 5 p.m. Eastern on Fridays.
We'll be there.
And on iTunes. So you can catch us Facebook Live, YouTube, iTunes, damn near everywhere. It's impossible to not catch us.
So what you're telling the people is there's no excuse not to listen to Full Size Run.
If you are not listening to Full Size Run or watching Full Size Run, you are doing it on purpose, is what I'm telling the people.
Yeah, and we will take that as a slight.
I'd be very insulted. We have B. Diddy news section, feature section, best and worst things on the net this week, of course, our release roundup, and more. Glad to have you back, by the way.
Thank you. You know, I'm sure...
You look a lot more like yourself this week than you did last week.
Yeah, I'm sure the people miss me. You know, I know the fan base is, can we say rabid at this point?
Yeah,
is that a fair
I think we said
adjective?
that 3 weeks ago, so at this point, whatever rabid plus is.
Much more than rabid,
Yes.
so I'm certain they're
People
happy
miss
to
you.
have me.
Are you back for the culture?
Yes.
B. Diddy's back for the culture,
I'm
officially.
doing it for the culture, as with most
Before we
things
get into
in
the
my
show, I do
daily
want to say
life.
something very important, though. Rest in peace, Prodigy.
Yes.
I really wanted to say that. As a
Queens native, right?
As a longtime fan
Yourself.
who grew up and will probably never leave Queens, it was a big loss to all of us. But there is sneaker news to be talked about. B. Diddy, kick us off.
We're going to talk about Jordans right off the bat.
Yes.
Last week, in my absence, Jordan Brand released a big batch of previews, upcoming retro stuff to look forward to. Air Jordan 1s, more of those Air Jordan 2 decon styles, deconstructed, a little bit stripped down.
Yep.
A couple pairs of Air Jordan 8s, the Air Jordan 13 History of Flight shoe that was previously a sample. There's also the return of the Air Jordan 11 IE Low.
Yep.
Anything catch your eye in this pack, Rich?
I just want to say from a holistic perspective, it's a very strong preview.
Okay.
I don't think that there are really any misses here for me. I'm really glad to see the History of Flight 13 actually make a retail appearance.
Really?
You said, oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
You think it should have stayed a sample?
I mean, in general, I'm not against this thing where samples become retail shoes, but that whole pack, the white with the red, just really wasn't that interesting to me.
You didn't like it?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I liked it a lot. It was a big moment when they shopped the collection around to different like Nike towns and,
Right.
and House of Hoops locations. So it was one of the first, besides the History of Flight, besides the For the Love of the Game, the University Blue one.
right, the Pantone stuff.
The Pantone collection to make its rounds throughout the country, maybe throughout the world. It could have ended up other
Was
places.
that rainbow pack as well? You remember that?
Yes.
We see those samples pop up every couple of years.
Which I wouldn't mind if that dropped too. But either way, I'm happy to see the 13. Personally, I'm happy to see the 13 come back. The Jordan 2 Decon is growing on me. The tonal ones, I'm a big ones fan.
I think you can't go wrong with that Jordan 1 in the pack,
No.
right? A black leather Jordan 1 with the subtle red accents.
Also,
that's the easy pick out of the group for me.
Yeah, and also you didn't mention it, but I'll mention it since it's my favorite Jordan of all time, Jordan 8s.
Mm-hmm.
Cool gray, tonal cool gray, Jordan 8, really fire. The alternate playoffs, maybe I could...
That's the suede pair, right? They're both in suede.
Yeah,
Yep.
which automatically you're out.
No, can't do it,
No-
especially not for $190.
No suede gang. But overall, to me, it's a very strong preview. Obviously, if you're not a Jordan head specifically, Jordan has definitely taken a bit of a hit lately in terms of its overall buzz and hype within the, especially the newer culture.
Right.
But to me, as a long time
Because kids
Jordan
love
fan-
Boost, as we know.
And they do love Yeezy, too.
Yeah.
But to me, as a longtime Jordan fan and collector, I'm very happy with the strength of the overall collection. So moving from Jordan to even more Jordan, because why not?
Always Jordans.
PSNY, it's Public School New York, officially unveiled a 3-pack of Jordan 12s earlier this week.
That's right. They've done the Jordan 12 thing before, and then
Couple times, right?
all these were kind of existing as samples.
Yep.
We didn't really know if they were going to come out or not. At last, they have debuted the official images, and with them some release details around them.
Yep.
I think all 3 pairs are going to be a regional release.
Yep.
Which is something, again, speaking of the Jordan 2 Decon that Jordan recently did. According to Jordan Brand, these will be releasing on June 28th in New York, Paris, and Milan. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jordan Brand didn't mention which locations are going to have them.
No.
But Poe on Twitter,
Did he?
a reliable
shout
leaker,
shout out to Poe.
whose info we always trust, and he's rarely ever wrong.
Yeah.
According to him,
NTOG, salute.
according to him, it's the wheat pair for New York,
Yes.
The olive pair for Paris,
Yes.
and the burgundy for Milan.
Yes, that makes the most sense.
I mean, I get the wheat thing in New York. I'm not sure if there's some deeper storytelling behind the Paris being in olive and the burgundy being in Milan.
I thought it would be. My thoughts would think it'd be Bordeaux would be Paris.
Right.
It's not. It's the other way.
That's
Okay.
what he said.
If that's what Poe said, I'm gonna go with it. Again, shout out to Poe, NTOG, a man who I've gotten information from for many years. I love this pack. I love all of PSNY's Jordan 12 so far. The gray one to me was absolute fire flames. Wish I got my hands on it. I would love. Oh, and going back to it being regional, one thing that we don't know yet, also besides a confirmation of which one is going to drop in which region, is how it's going to drop.
Yeah, because when Jordan Brand tweeted it out, they said it was going to be on Nike sneakers. So
exactly.
are they going to do something in the vein of the Don C Jordan 2?
Like a geo-targeted thing.
Exactly, where it's this little scavenger hunt type thing, and you don't know where, and you have to be in a certain location.
That's okay, but not scavenger.
You don't want to be running around the city for your wheat Jordan 12s?
No. I should be able to walk into, and if you're a New York OG, you know, if you're going to go catch your wheats, you're going to go to the Jamaica Coliseum Mall or Steinway or Jackson Heights or somewhere, just random mom and pop shop, and be able to get my PSNY wheats off. I hope they don't do a scavenger hunt. I do think, though, and we spoke about this in full-size runs past, that this geo-targeting thing or regional exclusive thing is very dope. I do like that. It's bringing some energy and some buzz back to the culture and making, copping sneakers great again, which we do have to turn it into a damn hat at this point.
I don't know. We have Kevin Garcia in the comments saying he's copping all 3 pairs of the 12s. Good luck to you, Kevin. We don't know how you're going to do it, but if you do manage that, let us know, because that's quite a feat.
And plug me, please.
Donald in the comments saying PSNY kills it every time.
Very good. And
although that one mellow they had, I could do without.
Well, 12s. Their 12s kill it every time. They also get the Jordan Future, which
we won't speak about.
I actually used to hoop with Dow back in the day. Really cool.
Of public school.
Of public school, yeah. He's one half of public school. His partner Maxwell is also the other half of public school. Used to hoop with him. Real cool dude. At the time, he was designing for Diddy at Sean John. Now he designs for public school, which is his own label, and they also work with DKNY. So shout out to Dow and Maxwell of PSNY.
Doing big things.
And size 10. B Diddy.
Let's talk about some big moves by Nike recently. So last week we heard that they're cutting 2% of their global workforce, kind of an effort to rearrange how they're doing retail. It sounds like they want to focus more and more on reacting and getting products to people faster and
more
kind of
DTC, direct
exactly. They always want to do more direct to consumer, so that makes sense. They have this new thing called the Consumer Direct Offense. They've also listed out a handful of cities. So Nike has these big growth plans and goals they have to hit by 2020.
Do you know? I don't know if you know. I don't even mean to put you on the spot. Is there a certain number?
I thought the number was 50 billion, but don't quote me on that.
At one point it was 23 billion, but that was years ago. So it could be 50 billion at this point.
I think so.
It's a lot of billions.
Yeah, it's a lot of sneakers, and so part of this is to target cities, specifically New York, Milan, Tokyo, and figure out which sneakers or which pieces of apparel are doing well in these metropolitan areas, and how can they better serve them, and how can they find out very quickly what consumers in those areas are latching onto and better serve those consumers. And obviously they have a wealth of data through their direct-to-consumer sales that they can use to inform these decisions.
And stuff like we just spoke about, like the sneakers app, the geo-targeting through theirs.
And this kind of goes with a very top-level directive from Mark Parker, being about, they have this, they want to get twice as fast at doing everything. And part of that, I think, is bringing products to retail, or realizing which products are doing well, which ones aren't. There's also, I think they kind of want to focus more, and this is, again, a top-level Nike directive, this thing they call Edit to Amplify, where they have less styles. We saw it kind of in Nike basketball, where they're cutting back on the number of colorways, trying to only focus on the ones that are really good, and how can they make more noise around those. And in that same vein, I think they want to cut down 25% of their shoe styles. Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
which is a lot. That's a lot. That's a quarter. That's
it's
of
a
your
lot.
Overall product.
But how many garbage Nike shoes are
I
out
agree
there?
With
you know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. But just when you consider the space that we're in now, and you say to yourself, Nike's cutting a quarter of its product. It's a lot. I hope they're trimming the fat and getting rid of a lot of the stuff that we could do without, but that's a lot of product to trim, 25%. Anyway, keep on going.
Yeah. Another thing to mention kind of in the same conversation is a new avenue for Nike to sell these sneakers is that a Goldman Sachs analyst says that there are indicators now that Nike might be in talks with Amazon, finalizing a deal where they can sell sneakers through Amazon. Now,
Crazy.
I believe through Amazon's marketplace now you can kind of resell sneakers. It's kind of like an eBay type thing, but this is more direct retail type operation where you and I can buy sneakers on Amazon. We don't know what sort of sneakers. Yeah. I'm anticipating that I won't be able to go there and get the PSNY 12s on Amazon.
One should hope.
or any sort of Nike Lab stuff. I assume it'll be a couple tiers lower than that. Sure. Nike already deals with Zappos, which is owned by Amazon. So, and you see the kind of stuff that's on there. It's definitely not high-level sneakerhead type product, but it is still interesting to. Yeah. Low price point stuff that they can just move in volume, which I'm sure is what they're looking to do.
I think that this is a massive industry shaking partnership if Nike and Amazon link up together. Amazon's obviously one of the biggest, if not the biggest, retailers online. Speaking of data that Brendan mentioned before, they have billions of pieces of data and consumer behavior purchases on their back end, and it would be a huge deal for Nike to be able to sell DTC through Amazon's amazingly robust online retail system. My question is, I guess it doesn't affect our space so much, in that you're not be able to potentially cop Saturday's
I kind of doubt it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I kind of get the feeling that the type of stuff we care about is not going to be on Amazon. Again, this is if this happens. We got to underline that. There's one analyst at Goldman Sachs who is saying there are indicators that a deal is being finalized, but there's no confirmation from Nike or from Amazon just yet.
I guess my question is, Nike has been doing a lot of things lately, and if you speak to independent retailers, especially in our space, they will agree with me too. Nike has done a lot of things lately to be more nimble and direct to consumer, but at the expense of some of their retail partners.
Right.
What does a massive deal with Amazon do to further that standpoint, that a lot of their brick and mortar or online partners already feel like they're being slighted in favor of Nike really controlling all of their product and their releases?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the right play is to keep those accounts special by making sure the product is differentiated, because there's certain type of stuff that you should only be able to get at House of Hoops or at Kith or at boutique level accounts. So I think that there's a right way to do it where you don't alienate those store managers or store owners too much.
Sure.
But I don't work on the retail side, so I'm not sure.
But how about a Foot Locker though?
Yeah, Foot Locker's a little bit different because they are so all-encompassing with the product. They have high-level stuff and low-level stuff.
I'm interested
to
see.
But Foot Locker's a huge partner, so I'm sure they're aware of this.
Amazon is so massive, and I'm just wondering if they come through and just crush the damn buildings.
Like
and
Snoop
all of a
did.
sudden, exactly like Snoop did. And all of a sudden, you're getting basically everything through. Listen, it is so easy to cop. And Amazon is like the YouTube of copying things online. You can get
I saw
lost.
a lot of people excited too about like Amazon Prime. You buy your sneakers and then they're there the next day.
I've thrown like a billion things in my Amazon cart just because like it kept on coming up. Like, oh, I'll take this. Oh man, it'll be here tomorrow. Damn, I'll take all of it. So if I can cop my Yeezys, or not my Nike Air Yeezys, but if I can cop my Jordans and a toothbrush and shaving cream, toilet paper, and have it here tomorrow, I'm only going to Amazon to cop sneakers from now. So I'm just wondering how massive this deal could be.
Fair enough.
And Amazon Prime is the shiznit, by the way.
You're a subscriber?
Hell yeah, man. Are you crazy?
I never had a Prime account. I always
man.
I got a friend somewhere who has one, and I'll kind of leech off of that.
Amazon Prime is a shiznit.
We are not being paid by Amazon
but
for
if they
this
would
segment.
like to pay us,
if Amazon wants to cut a check, talk to my agent.
I will speak even more highly of you.
Talk to my agent.
From Nike cutting to Nike adding, Nike officially...
Excellent the transition game is crazy at this point. We're not too far into the show, a couple months, but we're crushing the transitions.
You know what I mean? Transition
I just want to highlight
heavy.
that.
From Nike cutting to Nike adding, bang, Nike officially announced their rookie class for the 2017 NBA incoming class. The draft is coming up this week. A lot of really interesting news coming out of the NBA already. The NBA is my favorite soap opera on television, period. Dwight Howard got traded in the middle of
on Twitter, right? talking about the rumors.
Only Dwight Howard though. Oh, that could only happen to Dwight Howard. He was doing
He's
a
gonna
Twitter
go play
Q&A,
for Michael Jordan too, right?
which is funny too. He was in the middle of doing a Twitter Q&A about trades in the NBA, and man's got traded mid-tweet.
What a
only
time.
Dwight Howard.
What a time.
Anyway, Nike announced their full rookie class today. They have the consensus overall #1 pick as part of the class. He announced actually last week, Markelle Fultz. They also picked up De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum, Harry Giles, Jonathan Isaac. Very, very, very strong rookie class. We noted two.
Why don't I see Lonzo Ball on there? Any thoughts on that, Rich? Did you think maybe it was going to happen last minute?
That would have been crazy, though.
That
right?
would have been wild.
That would have been
I seriously
sick.
doubt it was anywhere on the table, but that would have been bananas if at the last minute.
If Nike came through and put something
Cut a
up
check
on Nike
for
Inc. with
Lonzo
Lonzo
Ball.
Ball's face on it, I would have lost it.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball's not in there, neither is Josh Jackson, which means that, well, obviously we know where Lonzo Ball is going, big baller brand or die. Jackson might be going to Adidas. Adidas has yet to announce their class. We assume that's coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
But very, very, very strong class for Nike. A lot of players, as of recently, have been favoring going to other brands because Nike is very centered for the future on their strategy with KD, Kyrie.
They have so many signature
and LeBron.
athletes, right? And Paul George.
And Paul George now. So if I'm a rookie coming into the game and I want my own signature, I know that I'm going to have to either wait for a minute or take a team deal because KD, LeBron, Kyrie, and PG are still in the primes of their career.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Their sneakers aren't going anywhere, that's
KD
for sure.
just won a chip. He's got at least 6 more years left of prime basketball, 5 to 6 more years left of prime basketball. So James Harden went to Adidas. Dame Lillard obviously went to Adidas. And they got signatures elsewhere. Klay Thompson went all the way to Anta. So
and he got a signature shoe. I don't know if he got a
Delly
good signature shoe.
Delly went to Peak.
But he got
and that's part of the reason
even
why,
Delly got a shoe.
And that's part of the reason why Lonzo Ball is not at Nike. Because they knew that Nike wasn't going to give him that type of deal, that type of signature deal. So with all that being said,
more importantly,
Nike
they weren't going to give him $1 billion.
Or his own big baller imprint. With all that said, very strong class for Nike, especially with the #1 overall consensus pick. I am very, very much looking forward to the NBA draft.
Andy in the comments says all outstanding players. He's accompanying that with 3 fire emojis.
Okay.
So take from that what you will. Brandon
Right.
Johnson says no Lonzo, no love. Brandon, we want to know, does that mean you're skipping out on Nike for the foreseeable future?
Or are you copying Zo2s?
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. Write that $495 check.
I think the fact that we don't have Zo2s yet is criminal. We're doing something wrong.
It's a goddamn shame.
They're supposed to drop in November, but I need the prototype pair. Like, we need that on full
Several.
schedule. Which
Pairs.
leads me into my weekly PSA. LeVar Ball, Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, any ball, come through the Full Size Run show. I know you're in town.
We would love to have you.
I know you're in town for the NBA draft. Every Wednesday, we're here. You know where to find us. Come through. We'd be more than happy to have you on the show. From Nike to
Adidas.
Yes.
Not our best transition.
We'll work on that one.
The Yeezy Boost is back. We're not talking about the restock that's happening this week, although we will touch on that more later.
Yep.
It looks like there is a new version of the Beluga colorway coming in October, according to the guys at Yeezy Mafia. Pretty prolific in the leaking game at this
usually
point.
right.
Yeah, if there's any sort of new Yeezy news, it's usually coming to these guys. They're a friend of the program.
Yep.
Salute to them. This is a familiar colorway. It kind of works with the original Adidas Yeezy 350 Boost V2 Beluga. The top line on the stripe on the side is flipped in terms of the colors. The gray and the orange are flipped around. The text also goes the other way now, as it does on a handful of them.
Yep.
The heel tab is there. They kind of take the heel tab off and put it on sometimes.
Yep.
According to them, this is a sample, so this doesn't necessarily reflect the final retail pair.
And when are these dropping, according to Yeezy Mafia?
October is what they said. They don't have a hard date yet, but if we know anything about how those guys operate, they should soon.
around that time.
Yeah. Rich, these do anything for you?
I think these are trash.
Trash.
If I'm being honest with you.
You said trash.
Yeah. You know,
I'm skipping them.
We've touched on this several full-size runs in a row. The 350, and I said this maybe 3 episodes. I felt 3 episodes ago, which is maybe even 3 Yeezys ago, that it was time to move on from this style, the V2. So the fact that we're looking at something now dropping towards the end of 2017 means that they're not giving up on this style anytime soon.
And it means it's really time to give up.
Yeah. And this colorway is not doing anything for me. The sneaker that's dropping today, the Zebra 350 V2, is, in my personal opinion, the best V2.
Right.
And
by the way, if you are watching, those are hitting the Adidas Confirmed
today.
app at 4
We'll
p.m.
try to get you out of here by 4.
Eastern. So while this is clearly the most important thing in your day, the second most important thing would be trying to get a pair of Yeezys. Do open the Confirmed app up. We wish you luck.
Get your fingers ready.
Yeah.
I would have been more than happy to end the Yeezy 350 V2 today with a re-release of the Zebra.
And just
that's it. Let's move on.
Put the nail in the coffin.
Let's move on. I would like to see more flavors of the Calabasas, of the Power Phase, or damn near anything besides more 350 V2s at this point. And I think this colorway is garbage. That's just one man's opinion. Brendan, I'm going to try to get this improve in our last transition.
Show me what you got. By the way, on the Yeezys, Nick says one man's trash is another man's treasure. So our friend Nick in the comments is looking forward to those, although Kadir says super trash. So.
Super trash. Well, any emojis?
No emojis accompanying that statement, so I'm not sure how certain he is.
We can't believe that. We need at least 3 trash throwing in the trash can emojis. Going from Yeezy Boost to maybe Nike's new competition for Boost?
I don't know if I want to say it's a response to Boost.
You would know more because you're more experienced with this.
We are going to talk about Nike's React cushioning. Michael, shout out to Michael Diamond in the comments, by the way. He continues to ask what shoes I'm wearing. I am wearing the Nike React Hyperdunk 2017 Flyknit.
Yes.
This is one of the first shoes, one of 2 new shoes that will debut Nike's new cushioning system called React. The sneaker is releasing on August 3rd. This is the Flyknit version of it, retailing for $160. There's also a mid version for $140 and a low for $130. So the big thing about these sneakers is the cushioning in them, and that's, again, the Nike React system. This is part of Nike's what is calling a cushioning revolution.
Yep.
Mark Parker, has referenced this cushioning revolution, and basically what we know about it so far is it involves Vapor Max, which debuted this year on the Nike Air Vapor Max Flyknit.
Your sneaker of the year?
So far. We're June right now.
6 months in.
About to wrap up June.
Almost 7.
Yeah, that's the sneaker of the year so far for me. So the Vapor Max is part of this cushioning revolution. The Vapor Max tooling will appear on more sneakers going forward.
Yep.
Zoom X is part of this cushioning revolution. That's the foam they used in the Breaking 2 sneakers. Yep. Also coming to retail soon via the Nike Zoom 4%. Fly 4%. Yep. The latest is Nike React.
Yes.
Now, basically what Nike's telling us about Nike React is that it's lightweight, resilient, and durable.
Yep.
All 3 of these things in concert is a tough thing to achieve when it comes to sneakers. They're very proud of this. They're very big on it. They had a media event here in New York that we went and checked out. They're saying it's different from typical EVA foams that have kind of dominated the industry.
Which is why I mentioned Boost, because we've heard that before.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Anytime a brand, that's a good point. Anytime a brand brings out a new cushioning, I want to say it's not EVA.
Yep. Because
we've been stuck with EVA for so many years. So the idea is that this is something totally different.
Yep.
Right now, we're only seeing it in basketball sneakers. The Hyperdunk, of course, being a basketball sneaker, and a Jordan shoe that we have on set here that we'll talk about in a minute.
Yep.
They're saying it's gonna, it has the ability to be leveraged for other sports. There's no indication of what sport for now. Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder to what extent. I mean, they already have Zoom X in running, which seems to...
And Vapor Max also running.
Yeah, they seem to have their home there. So I'm interested which other sports this will find its way to. In testing, it sounds like they were mostly focused around basketball. It's designed, they call it the most durable basketball foam yet. It's tested over 2,000 hours. So definitely they spent a lot of time with this one.
Yeah. Also, if you guys were watching the NBA Finals, Draymond Green was rocking a pair throughout the NBA Finals. They didn't speak much on it until the event yesterday here in New York, but Draymond won a chip.
Draymond Green, the second most important person so far to wear these sneakers. The other one sitting next to you.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I have not tried to hoop in them. I did try them on a little bit around the office. You know, I didn't really feel too much, but I think you probably have to break them in and actually hoop in them.
I feel
to give it its.
I can, you know, walking around in them.
You've been rocking them for a while.
I've not hooped in them either because, as you know, as viewers of the show know, I don't do much hooping.
Yes.
In general, unless I'm all by myself.
Do you do hula hooping?
In a private space where no one can see me. I am.
Wait, you hoop in private?
Yeah, maybe. You know what I mean, with the lights off.
Mask off?
Fuck it, mask on. Walking around, I can feel it. You know, I can kind of feel my feet like settling into the shoes. You know, kind of like them forming to my foot. Lightweight, I'll buy that. You know, they are lightweight. Absolutely. They got that resilient. Yeah.
Needs more hours.
Yeah, and same thing with the durable. Like I haven't put enough work in these shoes to really confirm what Nike's trying to sell us there. So, you know, the shoe in general, the Hyperdunk, you know, taking it away from just the cushioning, I think is a great looking shoe.
Yes.
I think one cool aspect of the shoe is that it's very techy. You know, it has React cushioning on the inside.
Yep.
It has Nike Flyknit. It even has a new application of Flyknit down here on the toe that's kind of more reinforced.
Yes.
So it's not as stretchy, not as pliable as you're used to seeing it. And for those who do hoop, I can't relate to you, A, and B, you'll get some more protection down in the toe. But despite the techiness of the shoe, also this piece of the heel is really cool. This invisible, yeah. Yep. It doesn't look too busy, and I think that's kind of where a lot of Nike basketball designs in the past couple of years went wrong. You know, they started looking like Transformers. There was all this, you know, geometry going on and this posit and this hyper this and I don't know. I think this shoe is a step away from that, kind of in the same way that the PG1 is, and I appreciate that.
Well, I feel like this is going backwards in a very good way. I think that the original Hyperdunk that dropped in 2008 for the Olympics was perhaps the most, I don't want to say the most important basketball shoe of all time because that's probably the Air Jordan 1, but the most important recent basketball sneaker in recent history. Mm-hmm. That Hyperdunk changed the game in so many ways. It introduced Flywire technology. The look and feel of it was nothing that came before it. Mm-hmm. It really informed a lot of the design and technology that we still see today because this is the Hyperdunk 2017. So that was a revolutionary shoe to me. And this is a step backwards in that direction in a good way. And I'm going to agree with Brendan, a lot less and it's more. In that way.
This sneaker designed by Ross Klein, a guy who's been in the industry for a while. He was at New Balance for a couple of years. He was at Under Armour, so he's definitely he's got quite a resume. And I have a feeling he's now the senior innovation designer or a senior innovation designer for Nike basketball. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more
this is dope.
Of his stuff in the near future.
One thing that you mentioned earlier, and I do want to show the viewers, and I agree with you, the almost jewel-like application of the swoosh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And raised.
I feel like swoosh branding keeps getting bigger and bigger. This is cool where, you know, they just shrunk it a little bit. And it kind of adds to the overall clean look of the sneaker. Yeah. Another cool thing talking about Nike React cushioning, it's actually led.
Let's bring out the Jordan joint.
Yeah, absolutely. Led from a design standpoint. So this is the other sneaker we're talking about today that uses Nike React cushioning. This is the Jordan Superfly 2017.
And this is Blake Griffin's shoe for the next season.
Right, not a signature shoe, but Blake Griffin will be wearing this shoe. Nike React, the lead designer on this is Ernest Kim, a guy who's been in the sneaker game forever. If you guys ever read Kixology.
Oh, Professor K,
exactly,
that's right.
Professor K, you know, he had very early on in the days of the sneaker internet these incredibly detailed breakdowns of everything that was coming out. You know, we owe a lot of what we do to guys like him.
Professor K.
He's a Soul Collector alum. You know, he worked for the site for a couple of years, kind of moved his way up the ladder to Nike, and now is involved in this top-level innovation stuff. So
good for him.
Definitely was really cool to talk to him at the launch of the shoe, you know, because he's a guy who started out just geeking out over this stuff and is now, you know, at Nike creating the next wave of sportswear.
And he clearly gets it because he came from the same space that we are currently in.
Exactly.
Like I said, I haven't hooped in it. The Hyperdunk 2017, especially in my opinion, Hyperdunk React 2017 looks really good in my opinion. The marketing of it, you know, what they're telling us sounds great. You know, obviously I would like to hoop in it to see if it holds up to what they're saying, but at the very least, we have a good looking basketball sneaker coming our way that should have better cushioning.
It runs a little tight.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
It feels plenty firm. I'm kind of moving around a little bit in the heel. I don't know if people like a little bit more room there. So yeah, but it's certainly a good looker.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts if you're going to be hooping in this sneaker next year. I definitely would love to hoop in it. You know, we always talk about Nike being the leader of innovation across products, and they have been for decades. But for a while there, Brendan, their technologies were stagnant. I mean, we've been dealing with Air Max and Zoom and Lunar for decades now. Lunar being the newest thing.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's great to see Nike innovating their cushioning once again.
Yeah.
We have Vapor Max, which is a big ass Air Max. We have the Zoom X and now React. So at least Nike is now introducing new cushioning and new technologies past what we are used to and have grown to love. I personally, I told Brendan this earlier, I'm a huge fan of Zoom when I hoop. Not so much Air Max. I feel like I roll over on Air Max, and Lunar Line I bust right through. So I'm a fan of Zoom, but I am very interested in seeing what this React hoops like.
Another interesting thing about the sneaker that I think is going to be tough for Nike, and we speak about this a lot, is that there's no real visual articulation of this React stuff. So, you know, stuff like Air Max makes so much sense to an everyday consumer because they can see it. This stuff, I mean, you see that both of the sneakers here have this accordion type thing going on across the midsole, but that's not actually the React cushioning you're seeing there. The React cushioning is a foam embedded inside the sneaker. So the problem is, you know, we can nerd out over it and we can understand it, but the everyday consumer, I feel like it's going to take them a long time to really understand what React is.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the same way that Air was. Like, Air had been a thing for years before the Air Max 1 came.
Right, once you show it to them, then it makes sense.
Now it's a real thing.
And especially, I think the communication on it is even a little messy because this accordion type stuff that's going on in the midsole looks a lot like Lunar Lawn.
Yes.
You know, when I see that set up on a sneaker, I'm thinking Lunar Lawn immediately. And I don't know if a general consumer knows enough about these technologies to know what Lunar Lawn is.
I agree with you 100%. I think the same thing. I'm not a general consumer either, but I 100% agree with you.
But it's just, you know, I think one of the problems and one of the challenges is you can't see React. You have to feel it.
Yeah. And I keep on mentioning Boost because we have to be honest with everyone at this point. Boost is the de facto cushioning in the space right now. It is
Kevin Garcia in the comments agreeing. He says Adidas is the best in comfort. Yes. Although Mac saying Zoom X will definitely overthrow Boost.
That
Mac
remains to be seen.
It's possible, but none of us have really felt Zoom X yet.
Right.
So we got it. The jury's still out on that.
But the thing about Boost, even though it's not the prettiest thing to look at because it does look like pieces of styrofoam, you know what it looks like.
Exactly.
So I agree with you. Like, this just looks like a midsole or an outsole.
Or kind of like Lunar Lawn.
Or kind of like Lunar Lawn. It doesn't look like anything. You have to feel it. Whereas Boost, although it's not so pretty, even though they've colored it to make it look prettier, you know what it looks like, and you know it's there, and you know what it feels like. So,
and people who don't know anything about sneakers can realize, oh, that's what that is.
Exactly. So I'm interested maybe in generation 2.
Same with Flyknit. That's, you know, Flyknit, right when it came out, sneakerheads, yeah, we were obsessed with it.
Couldn't know what it looks like. Exactly.
But, you know, the general public understood it, I think, fairly quickly because the name was very reflective of what you see when you look at the shoe, which is this knit setup.
Yeah, maybe in V2 we could see React more, but I agree with you. The other thing that I pointed out yesterday when this first happened is it was very curious to me that Nike would name this technology React. Right? If you're an OG sneakerhead, you know that this is not new because Converse had
the name.
Converse had React Juice back in the mid-90s, and it was a huge technology for Converse, and Larry Johnson had it in his Grandmama's. So just bringing the whole React name back, and especially now that Nike owns Converse, it was a little weird to me.
Yeah,
completely different technologies.
We're assuming, right, that they can get away with that because they own Converse,
right?
I don't know
because
exactly
React
how that
Juice
works.
was definitely a cushioning thing. It was like probably
Yeah.
the quirkiest damn technology ever. There was actually juice, liquid in your heel that was supposed to, react and cushion you.
Right.
But it was a little weird to me to bring React, the name, back.
The explanation behind it kind of being from Nike that the foam reacts and bounces back to its original state after you're playing in it.
I get it. We'll see. I'm excited to see new technologies, new cushioning in basketball sneakers. I've been hooping for many, many years and prefer hooping in Nike Zoom over anything, to be honest with you. I've never hooped in Boost, although I would like to. Brendan, our best and worst things that we saw on the internet this week. Lead us off with the best, please.
Okay, so I want to talk about Yeezys again for a second.
As we always
They are restocking this week.
Yes.
They will be on the Adidas Confirmed app in about 30 minutes here. Adidas has actually updated the Confirmed app for this release where they have a CAPTCHA type thing going on where you have to answer a couple. We don't know exactly how it's going to work because this is the first release that has implemented it, but you have to tap an answer to a question. It's always good to see brands updating these apps to better filter out those who are trying to cheat the process, who are trying to automate the process, just to make things as fair as possible.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, buying sneakers online, for better or for worse, isn't an entirely fair process if you're not spending the money to buy a bot, or if you're not spending loads of time researching, which, I don't know, maybe some people would argue that those who spend this amount of time or this amount of money deserve the shoes more because they're putting in more work.
Time on their hands.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm happy to see Adidas update the Confirmed app and add in a step that should level the playing field a little bit and might even help me get a pair this afternoon.
May, most likely not. I will say, though, the one caveat with this, though, Brendan, is that these things usually last maybe 2 or 3 releases before they're broken.
Before somebody breaks them, right.
You know what I mean? So I agree with you that it is the best thing that we've seen this week since our last show, and that Adidas is trying to level the playing field on something that I think Adidas confirmed the app. I think it's garbage. But at least they're trying to make it better. But I give it 3 releases.
Okay.
3 releases before it's broken.
Will you feel better about it if you get a pair of Yeezys this afternoon?
I would feel good about everything if I got a pair of Yeezys this afternoon.
You hear that, Wex?
You know what? I'll leave that there. Wex, if you want to come on the show, though, you know where to find us.
Rich, tell me about the worst thing you saw in sneakers this week. I know you feel passionately about this.
I feel very passionately about this because, as you guys should know by now if you watch this show at all, any of our past shows, or even today's show, I am at heart, at root, a Jordan dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
My first real pair of sneakers ever was an Air Jordan. I grew up watching Michael Air Jordan play the game of basketball. I hooped in Jordans basically all my life.
Can't relate.
Right. So I'm a Jordan dude. So when the Jordan brand makes missteps, I find it personally offensive because I have so much love and pride for the brand. The worst thing that I saw on the internet this week,
tell us about it,
was the Barron's Air Jordan 9
Tell us why you're mad.
I just need a second. The sneaker is bad. Okay? The sneaker itself is really, really bad. And there's
on paper it's good, right? Because no. Listen to me for a second. The Air Jordan 9.
On invisible ink paper, yes, it's fantastic.
Michael Jordan played baseball. It's not one of these gigantic stretches. We talk sometimes about how Jordan brand is stretching at times to tell stories around sneakers. But I think this story of the baseball thing, Michael Jordan playing baseball while these were out, is an organic one. So I think the idea behind the Air Jordan 9 somehow referencing that is fine. Again, on paper. The execution, I mean,
I'm sorry, man. Hold up. I'm seeing the sneaker in the background. It's so bad. And there's 2 of them, which makes it even worse. One is brown, one is black. Listen, Michael Jordan's baseball career, first of all, I get it, right? It's part of the story, but
you'd rather forget it.
Yeah, I think
you get it, but you'd rather forget it.
I think MJ himself might rather forget
How upset is Jordan when he goes into a meeting and he sees that they did another damn baseball shoe?
You know what I mean? So, listen, in my personal opinion, the best way to do a Barron's thing is what they've done in the past, like make it black and white, which is cool.
It's hard to go wrong with the black and white sneaker, right? You can't fuck that up too
what
hard.
you could do is just drop a version of the cleat that he rocked when he was playing for the Birmingham Barons, you know, for without the cleat or with the cleats. You know, it doesn't matter. That makes a lot more sense to me. I know you said, like, this isn't a forced job and Jordan reaches, and it's great when they don't reach, and I completely agree with you. But the literal way that this is worked into the sneaker is just really, really, really not good.
Too much.
You told me...
Which I agree with you. Again, I don't want anyone to think I am caping for this sneaker. Again, I think that the baseball story is a natural one and better than some that they tell, but I will go on record saying, I will look right at the camera and say, this shoe sucks.
Yes. I'm going to have to agree with
100%.
you. But you did say there was one cool thing about this is that it might come in like a trading card thing. What was that?
Yeah, the talk is that they're going to be packaged like baseball cards and that they're going to be wrapped in plastic. Yeah. And there's 2 different colorways.
Right.
So you don't know which one you're going to get.
Okay.
Which is cool.
Does it come with stale gum? If it doesn't come with stale gum, then you messed up on that one too, Jordan.
Or is there a holographic pair?
You know what I mean? Like, these are things I need to know. But, man, listen, Jordan, you know I love you. I would not be here if it wasn't for your brand. But these gotta go. Worst thing that we saw. And we both agree this is the worst thing that we saw on the internet this week.
We need a deep sigh.
That was a lot.
After that,
that was a lot.
You know, we need to kind of just
moving on from things that you should not be excited about to things that you potentially should be excited about. This week's release roundup includes several. It's a quiet week, but there are several bangers on deck.
Rich, tell us what's releasing.
A sneaker that you and I are both very excited about. The triple black Nike Air Vapor Max drops on 6/22.
It's a beauty, man.
Which is tomorrow.
I almost did this on Nike ID.
Oh, where?
Yeah, I had a gift card that I was looking to blow through.
You could do this exact same setup?
Pretty close, if I recall correctly. And also, we probably mentioned this before, but I want to say that this one even looks better than the triple black one that released before, which I think was billed as a Nike Lab one. The bag on this one is a little bit better. Yeah. The bag on the first one had that kind of lacquered over look. This
to me is a very good consolation prize, if you will, for the sneaker that we both wanted earlier this year, which was the CDG Vapor Max.
I still want.
Yeah, which is basically this same exact sneaker without the laces and a CDG
shoes without shoestrings.
What do you know about those?
It's a big deal.
So we're both very excited about this. This was probably the first Vapor Max that I'm going to go in on this year.
I wish you luck.
Moving along, John Elliott is linking up with Nike Lab this week to drop 2 premium Vandal colorways. A sneaker that I love.
Rich, I think we want to talk about the bet you had with
me
before that, right?
I'm
before?
Gonna get to that.
No?
Man, it's hungry. Give me a second. We're going to go back to that.
I mean,
John Elliott linking up with Nike Lab to drop 2 premium Vandal iterations. And, of course, we mentioned it umpteen million times this episode. The Zebra Yeezy Boost are coming back on Saturday at... According to Yeezy Mafia, hundreds of retail locations worldwide. Mm-hmm. The amount of pairs that they were quoting per continent were 30,000 pairs on Adidas.com.
Sounds like a lot of sneakers.
And 30,000 pairs on Adidas EU. That's a lot of damn Yeezys. So a lot more available than the first release of the Zebras. And that brings us to Brendan.
Finally. Are we finally ready to settle this, Rich?
As you guys may or may not know, or you should know, Brendan and I had a friendly wager during the NCAA tournament. The wager was, I bet that the UCLA Bruins, led by my man Lonzo Ball.
What a foolish bet.
Would go further.
What a foolish...
Nah, it was a good bet.
Just the idea...
It was a good bet.
Stop. Just the idea that you know more than I do about basketball...
Do tell.
...is preposterous.
Right.
The idea that there are some aspects of the game of basketball that
I would know better.
More knowledgeable than me in is not an idea any reasonable... sane person would ever buy into.
I was on my LeVar Ball. But anyway, I'm still happy with the bet. I'm not happy that UCLA came up against Kentucky the way the brackets worked out. Otherwise, I'd be golden. So the bet was that UCLA would go further in the NCAA tournament than his beloved Oregon Ducks. You are a graduate.
A proud alum.
Proud alumni of the Oregon Ducks. I think the Oregon Ducks are all hype in every damn sport that they participate in, except for
You're
maybe
familiar
running.
with this GIF, right?
Except for yes, except
Right, you know that one?
But do you know how many national championships the Ducks have won?
In football, we do have a national championship in the game of basketball, Rich.
Please stop.
Let's not ever forget
Anyway.
the Tall Furs team.
Anyway,
First March Madness.
I lost the bet. The bet was for a chicken sandwich. And
Many months later, this is we're talking about March Madness. March.
But I always do
Madness.
good my best. Doesn't
and
matter.
Here we are at the tail end of June.
So here we go. In addition to everything that I mentioned dropping this week, Nike SB is linking up with Momofuku to drop a Nike SB Dunk High.
I love this, by the way. The shoe itself could be better, but the idea of the collaboration in general is awesome. David Chang, says he's been into Nike since he was a young man. On June 22nd, they're releasing these at Fuku here in New York City, 163 First Avenue in New York, starting at 10 a.m. And then I think the next day they'll be available at Nike retailers.
So in addition to having your very own pair of Momofuku Dunks, Brendan,
at last,
your Momofuku spicy chicken sandwich.
This is a big moment for me.
How do you feel?
Rich.
Talk to me. Talk to me how you feel.
I feel like we finally reached this point that I've been looking forward to for so many months, and we can finally put this. I feel like there's been some tension between us because of this chicken sandwich for months now.
The chicken sandwich has been.
You come into work every day, you stroll in at whatever time you like.
That's
true. By that time it might be like noon, it might be 1 p.m. I'm feeling a little hungry. I'm thinking, oh, maybe Rich. Maybe Rich.
The day.
Maybe he's got a fucking chicken sandwich with him. Maybe that's why he's taking his time getting in here, because he's down at Chick-fil-A getting me a spicy chicken, no pickles. But no, it's just Rich doing his thing, shooting some videos or whatever. No chicken sandwich in tow.
Yeah.
At long last, live on the set of Full Size Run, you have delivered this confirmation that I know more than you do about college basketball.
About one single tournament that happened
general,
in 2017.
Maybe even the game of life.
Maybe even. All of this in just one chicken sandwich.
I appreciate it, Rich.
And that is it for this Full Size Run. I'm glad that I was able to amend my debts live here on camera.
Did you learn anything from this? I just want to know.
I've learned plenty, and that is to never. And I knew this, but I just really wanted the Ducks to not do anything because I still think they weren't a good team.
Final Four.
The one thing that I knew, and I will always know from now on, is to never bet on UCLA basketball. I don't care how many family members
are playing on the
team
at any given time.
Never bet on UCLA basketball. Also, never bet on Georgetown. They've lost me money as well.
Milkshakes. They lost you milkshakes. We don't want to talk about money.
Yeah, milkshakes. Exactly. I'd never bet for money. So, lesson learned once again. Brendan, I'm glad to do this for you. I'm glad to have you back. Say something to the people before we get out of here, man.
You know what? We talk a lot about sneakers, but all I can think about right now is this chicken sandwich. So that's kind of my focus.
There might be pickles on it, though.
You got to take it back.
If it has pickles on it, I take it back. I'm Rich Mays Lopez.
I'm Brendan Dunne, news editor at SoulCollector.com.
So
proud owner of a chicken sandwich.